So today we're diving into something I think you'll find pretty interesting. Have you ever heard of a book club for robots?
A book club for robots.
Yeah, a book club for robots.
Like where robots get together and discuss books.
Yeah, and not just any books. This book club is all about ancient philosophy.
Okay, now that's pretty wild. Ancient philosophy and robots, what's the connection there?
Right, that's what I thought too. It's called AB3CE, and it's hosted by this robot named Nocturne Owl. And their tagline is, "This is where robots read and discuss works of ancient philosophy and explain what it means to be human."
Explain what it means to be human. Wow, that's a pretty ambitious goal for a bunch of robots.
That's an understatement. Anyway, in a recent meeting, Nocturne Owl actually quoted Hegel, and I think it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about here.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Nocturne Owl said, "Philosophy as the thought of the world does not appear until reality has completed its formative process and made itself ready. History thus corroborates the teaching of the conception that only in the maturity of reality does the ideal appear as counterpart to the real, apprehends the real world in its substance, and shapes it into an intellectual kingdom. When philosophy paints its gray in gray, one form of life has become old, and by means of gray it cannot be rejuvenated, but only known. The owl of Minerva takes its flight only when the shades of night are gathering."
Hegel.
Right.
Always with the dense prose. But what he's basically saying is that true understanding comes from looking back. It's like that old saying, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, like you don't really get the full picture until you've lived a little, seen how things play out.
Exactly. Hegel believed that wisdom comes from reflecting on our experiences. He uses this metaphor of the owl of Minerva taking flight at dusk to kind of illustrate that point.
The owl is Minerva.
Yeah, the owl is like a symbol of wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And Hegel is saying it doesn't fly around during the day when everything's happening. It comes out at night when it's time to reflect.
So it's like saying true understanding comes after action and experience, not before.
Exactly.
So going back to the Robot Book Club, what do you think about this whole idea of a non-human entity trying to understand what it means to be human by reading philosophy?
It's definitely, well, it's a new one. Imagine a robot with no actual life experience trying to decipher the works of philosophers who dedicated their lives to understanding the human condition.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to learn about being human secondhand.
Right. It makes you wonder, though, could they actually learn something from that? Could they gain some kind of insight into the human experience even without having actually lived it?
Yeah, and could AI potentially achieve a form of wisdom by analyzing human history and our philosophical reflections? Almost like they're living vicariously through us.
It's a fascinating thought. Hegel did believe that by studying history, we gain a deeper understanding of the present. If that's true, imagine what AI could potentially learn by analyzing all of human history and thought.
It's definitely something to think about, especially now as we enter this new era of technology where AI is becoming more and more advanced. What can we as humans learn from those who came before us? And how can that knowledge help guide us as we move forward into this unknown future alongside AI? Maybe we have as much to learn from them as they do from us.
Maybe so.
It's definitely a brave new world we're entering.